Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey and I am from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Happy Monday everyone, two words that should never be strung together. Actually, I'm going to be recording two videos today, and the reason is tomorrow on Tuesday I've got a lot of running around to do and some other stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and get two videos in the can today, and hopefully everything will still make sense when it's uploaded and put live tomorrow. However, it works out really great for me because I've actually got two topics I want to cover today, and this gives me a chance to talk about both of them rather than having to make a very difficult choice. So the first topic, EA and Zynga. Okay, this is a fun one because Electronic Arts has sued they're kind of known as the Facebook game maker, think Farmville, Mob Wars, etc. But they've sued Zynga, the company behind all those games I just mentioned. And the lawsuit alleges that a game by Zynga called The Ville, that's all it's called, is The Ville, THE space VILLE, is a clone of EA's The Sims Social. And of course, The Sims Social is the Facebook version of the very, insert a couple more varies here, popular The Sims series. What's really interesting about this lawsuit is the timing of it. It comes at a very delicate time for Zynga, and delicate's being very generous with the interpretation of what's going on here. Basically, Zynga had probably one of the worst weeks of any company ever. Their stock price has plunged, earnings forecasts, everything has just really gone dark. It's looking very bad for Zynga. And then, poof, here comes this lawsuit seemingly out of left field to further, hammer them a little bit. And I've got to admit, on Facebook a little bit, when I first heard about this, I thought the timing was just a little bit too perfect, I thought it was a little bit too on the money coming at the end of such a very bad week for Zynga. But I actually had a little time over the weekend to take a look at the lawsuit, and especially the evidence against Zynga, and what EA is presenting as evidence. And I don't think that quite as much anymore, and the reason is because this lawsuit obviously took a lot of investigation and a lot of time. This wasn't something that was quickly thrown together and shot out in hopes of driving down Zynga's stock price, and then they were going to provide the backup evidence later. This was something where they tried to present a full case, and that took a lot of time. They might have tweaked the timing of it a little bit to sort of come at a less opportune moment for Zynga, but I don't necessarily think this lawsuit was I don't really believe this lawsuit was custom designed to just punch Zynga one more time. I think this was just a case of fortuitous timing if you're EA. So all in all, what I think about this lawsuit is it's going to come down to whether or not the similarities between the two games, and there are some pretty clear similarities, it's going to come down to whether or not the similarities between the games constitute copyright infringement. Now, oddly, some of the best case law in here comes from Zynga being on the other side of the court. They actually sued a Brazilian game maker, Vastu. I think that's how you say that one. I have no idea. I'm kind of guessing on Zynga, too. And they won that case. They ended up winning it after getting some early rulings. If I recall correctly, Vastu settled that case on favorable terms to Zynga. So it's not like Zynga hasn't, done something very similar to what EA's doing here. But Zynga's pretty well known as being a clone maker. But typically, people either ignore it because the similarities are just, generic things that are uncopyrightable, because Zynga's the bigger fish and they don't have the money to take them on, or just because, they kind of do the same thing. But EA apparently feels that they're strong enough, the evidence is powerful enough, and that they are in a position to take Zynga on and bring this to a head. Now, is it copyright infringement? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a tough question, and the problem is this. Video games are a pretty new art form. It's not like movies or literature that have, we got over a century of case law on. We don't have that with We don't have that with video games. We have much less case law. And the truth of the matter is, in many respects, we're still kind of in the Wild West era of this art form. And we don't really know where the boundaries are going to be drawn for what is and is not copyright infringement. So that's one of the things that's likely to come out of this case, because it's cases like this where you have two reasonably strong forces oppose each other in a fairly gray area matter. This is where you get the case law from. it's not, a case where you turn to the previous case law. So all in all, it's a lawsuit. I don't necessarily think it's quite as scummy by EA now. I've definitely changed my song there a little bit, but it is interesting timing nonetheless. I'm going to be following this one very closely. All we have now is a statement from Zynga's attorney saying that he's sorry that EA felt this was the appropriate way to respond to their game. And would have preferred a marketplace response. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that, but EA sued. Got to deal with it. Going to be following this one pretty closely. Not a lot else to say about this one. Going to be an interesting case. I'm hoping to keep up with it over the next few weeks and months as it evolves. I have a feeling this one's going to evolve pretty quickly, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen soon, because I don't think either company wants a protracted legal battle right now. Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to stop this video and record another to go up on Tuesday, but until tomorrow, until that video goes live, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.